was the Gilded Age, and why did it leave America so unequal that it helped fuel disasters like the Panic of 1893? Between the 1870s and the early 1900s, the United States went through a burst of industrial growth and sweeping social change that created incredible wealth for a few and deep insecurity for almost everyone else. And a lot of what happened in the late 1800s feels uncomfortably familiar to things happening today. The Gilded Age was the age of Rockefeller, Carnegie, Vanderbilt, and J.P. Morgan. These industrial titans and others built massive fortunes in oil, steel, railroads, and finance. Admirers called them captains of industry, while critics labeled them robber barons for crushing competitors and exploiting workers. Their wealth translated into conspicuous consumption through massive homes in New York, Newport, Boston, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Chicago, and other major U.S. cities. Beyond the mansions of Fifth Avenue, the Gilded Age also saw millions of ordinary Americans living in crowded cities, working in dangerous factories, or struggling on failing farms. In urban areas, many of those millions settled in underdeveloped parts of town and lived in tenement buildings, which were poorly ventilated, overcrowded apartments where entire families might live in a single room. Only recently has a larger part of the American population, beyond historians and scholars of the era, been reintroduced to the Gilded Age, and only now is the full and complex story being broadly told. By studying the Gilded Age, we don't just learn about how railroads were built, or tycoons made their fortunes, or the manipulations of the Gilded Age Real Housewives of New York. We uncover the roots of America's ongoing debates about fairness, opportunity, and the meaning of progress. The age may have been gilded on the surface, but the deeper truths it reveals about power, society, and identity remain as relevant as ever. So beyond the beautiful architecture and gowns, beyond the drama and the intrigue of the HBO story, why should we still care about the Gilded Age today? And why is it important for us to understand what it really was? Because, again, many of the same tensions present in the show still echo in our world today. As an era of American history, the Gilded Age matters because it was the moment America became recognizably modern. And many of the challenges we face today were born during this era. The vast wealth gap between the ultra-rich and working poor, the rise of powerful corporations, the struggles of immigrants, the battle for civil rights, American expansion overseas, and the influence of money in politics and society. All of these were hotly debated topics in the 1880s and 90s, just as they are in the 2020s. It was a time of invention and inequality, reform and resistance, beauty and brutality. Some historians argue that we currently live in a second Gilded Age, only now with tech billionaires instead of steel, oil, and railroad magnates. The age may have been gilded on the surface, but remember the deeper truths that it reveals about power, society, and identity, and those remain as relevant as ever. By understanding the first Gilded Age, we see how Americans of the past confronted these problems, sometimes failing, sometimes succeeding, and how their choices shape the country we live in today. The HBO show The Gilded Age gives us an opportunity to learn of an era in American history that many people may never have heard of. By the way, if you want a deeper dive on the whole Gilded Age, I've got a full series I'll put the link on the screen. And it reveals the glittering, glamorous surface of that Gilded Age. But when you peel back the gold, you discover the story of America becoming modern, messy, and complicated. And when you put it in context, that's some history worth knowing. Until next time, safe journeys.